So this is a demonstrative device. Just push that through and it's how the foreskin just rolls down when it becomes erect. She's even crocheted the glands, the corona and the frenulum there. I'm Max. I'm the director of Intact Australia, and I started restoring my foreskin 7 years ago. Even after a few weeks, I was able to tell some difference. You can see some gains there. The easiest way to get started is manual stretching. You grasp just underneath the glands and then just push away from each other. Hold that for 5 minutes. The next device I used was the TLC tugger. Your slack shaft skin is bunched up and put in between there to hold it in place, and then you can wrap that around the elastic strap around your leg just to keep the tension on. That's why they call it the tugger. When you're restoring, you get hungry for tension, and I was wanting something more. The dual tension restorer. This was great because I could wear it with shorts. Good gains with that.
My name's Chad. I'm a social worker. I work in mental health and I'm restoring my foreskin. I guess it all started maybe 2 years ago. I kind of had this realization that something was different for me, and that was that when I was a child, I was circumcised. I was furious at my mum for letting that happen, or choosing to let that happen.
My name's Maxine and I'm Chad's mum. I don't know why it's surfaced. It has caused a lot of tension between us.
I was dating a man who was not circumcised, and that really was a catalyst to just be like, oh, well, hang on, what's actually happened here? What's going on?
My family's background is Jewish, and it was the done thing. We were always told it's cleaner, it's better for them in the long run, those kind of things. But you don't question that, because I was 24 when I had Chad.
I loved my penis up until I realized. So yeah, it was really confusing to all of a sudden one day just hate my body. For better use of a word, I really did. I started to hate it from that day on.
So Chad's trying to fix it, and I don't even know what it's called.
I've been restoring for like 2 years, mainly with a device called the DTR from a fella in the United States. Actually custom makes them.
I know it's a device that you attach and it stretches. That's all I need to know. That's all I know.
So basically I just wear that all day.
I'm Ron Lau, and I run TLC Tugger Foreskin Restoration. Once I had restored myself for a few years and realized the benefits that I was getting, there was no way to keep this light under a bushel. I had to share it.
Let me see your penis right now. Now, is that your cone?
Oh my God!
Well, this guy's got a huge penis.
What I'm wearing today
Yeah.
is special underwear for foreskin restoration.
Okay.
This is called Tug and Wear.
Jeez.
Here we go. The size of that thing.
Okay. Now,
All right. Now,
this
that's your you walk around with that device.
this
all day.
device.
I personally started restoring because of something that happened to me back in the year 2000. My wife planned a really exciting night of sex, and it just didn't add up to much, and I was shocked that my body had stopped responding to sexual stimuli. So I researched on the internet and found out that men were restoring their foreskins. So I started dabbling in silicone and making tapeless devices.
Yeah, it does look like you have a foreskin.
Is hanging forward of the
A
glands.
little bit.
A little bit. It's not quite
Yeah.
as.
Well, yeah, it's very hard to grow skin.
That just thrills me when I can reach people and let them know that they don't just have to live with what somebody else chose to decide as, how much penis they got to keep.
Your whole
fact-
living is from this business.
In 2003, I started making these.
Ever since we started, they've been going all over the world, including Australia. And I'd say to date, it's between 2,000 and 3,000 men using our brand of device. Now, there are other brands, so there have to be way more than 3,000 foreskin restorers in Australia.
I was circumcised when I was a baby, born in 1958. So at that time, every boy in school was circumcised, and I grew up thinking it was pretty normal. It wasn't until when I was just into my 50s, that late in life, I wanted to find out more about my circumcision and how it affected me. You know, the foreskin's not just a piece of useless skin. It has a lot of function. So much sensation is taken away from you. I went through a really dark place. Circumcision was the first thing I would think of in the morning when I woke up. It was the last thing I thought of at night when I went to bed. I would just break down and start crying, and to help get over those negative feelings, I started foreskin restoration.
My friends know, I've shown them my device, I've shown them how to put it on.
I didn't even really understand that male circumcision held any stigma.
You know, it's just unspoken, it's hidden, right? No one talks about it, even though, you know, a lot of people are, so. Initially, I used to hide it. I used to be very embarrassed. And now I kind of hope people see I want to start a conversation. I'm not embarrassed. What's embarrassing is that society doesn't want to talk about this mutilation, so I will make them talk about it by making them feel uncomfortable. I don't care. Before starting restoring, I think like having the glands uncovered all the time, it's uncomfortable. You know, it's constantly like rubbing up against clothes, and I think it's quite upsetting. It's kind of like a constant reminder that this sensation gets thrusted into my brain of like, oh, that's, you know, not comfy.
Forced amputation of children's healthy body parts does not belong in the 21st century. I'm Michael Winnell, leader of the Foreskin Revolution. G'day ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Foreskin Revolution. You may remember from our last video, Journey to the Rock, that I was doing foreskin salutes. And that is synonymous with our logo, which is the foreskin fist bump for world peace. So I'm launching the Foreskin Revolution, which is targeted at Australia and the US and Canada, the 3 remaining countries in the developed world that perform genital cutting in any sort of significant number. The USA has about 80% of its population circumcised. Here we go. I bumped into activists in the US when I was at a work meeting, and I joined up, and so I started doing street activism in the US. So by day I'd be selling medications, by night I'd be selling foreskins. Foreskin has a gliding mechanism that in intercourse hugs the orifice wall of, say, for example, a vagina, and then allows the piston-like motion of the penis to pump in and out, and it provides a natural lubricant because you've got this roller-bearing motion of all this extra skin. And that is something to be not only to be kept and to be explored, but something to be celebrated, because God and nature have given us the most amazing technology and put it right between our legs.
Every week I do circumcisions, both in the newborns and under general anaesthetic in a hospital environment. For around 10 years I was the only paediatric surgeon in Sydney offering newborn circumcision. So probably over the last 20 years I've done more than 25,000 circumcisions. Imagine this is the penis. One forcep goes on the undersurface, and a blunt probe is used to separate the foreskin away from the head of the penis. Then a straight crushing instrument is used to crush the skin at the level where it's going to be removed. Once that clamp is on, then a scalpel is used to remove the skin, allowing the head of the penis to pop through. Then a bandage is put on. Then we need to put the nappy on before there's any problems. Most parents that I see are trying to do the right thing for their children. I think well-meaning parents who understand the information can look at the information and think it's a good thing, and some parents might think it's not so good thing for their child, and I think that's where it's at.
Look, the great news is in Australia, the circumcision rate has dropped from a high in the 1950s of about 80% to now, in 2019, it's down to about 10%. Of those getting cut in Australia, the overwhelming majority are just regular Aussie kids. It's not to do with religion or culture, regular Aussie, Caucasian, Anglo kids. And it's simply being done largely because it was done to dad, it's done in the family.
I don't think it's as straightforward as that for most families. For a lot of families, what we're translating is Dad knows how to look after a penis that's been circumcised, and they're unsure of a penis that's not.
You're not allowed to do scarification on your children. You're not allowed to do foot binding. Yet you're allowed to hack off the most sensitive part of their penis for the rest of their life. So I think that the medical establishment needs to stand up. That's their duty of care. Their Hippocratic oath is to do no harm.
I don't think there's an easy answer, but I think if we can have a good debate amongst people, then I think it's healthy.
I think you do know, I hope you know, that it was never from a place to harm you or disfigure you or anything like that.
You know, thank you for, for supporting me. Because you could have turned around and said, too bad, get over it.
Yeah.
You know, which happened in the...
Yeah, and I wouldn't do that. I'll always support you.
Hey there, my name is Mark Fennell, and if you enjoyed that, and I'm hoping that you did, then make sure you like and subscribe to the Feeds YouTube channel, and definitely watch that thing that I have absolutely seen before. It's really good.